Hello everyone, and today we're taking a look at the final respirator in the British World War II civilian respirators, and this is one that can be found on the market with or without the haversack. This is the first one that actually has a haversack, and I own two of these as well. So without no further ado, let's jump right into it. So here we have a pretty recognizable mask. We have the CDR, Civilian Duty Respirator. Of course, these were issued to really home front. So if you really think about it, and they were, I believe these were issued to ARP and a couple other personnel that would be back at home. But I've ultimately included this one because it's also like the home front respirators. You might notice this one is without the haversack, this one has a haversack. We'll take a look at this one a little bit later. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at this example first. So this is a really nice example of a CDR. So as you can see, it has the flapper or flutter valve, very similar to the Mickey Mouse or general civilian respirator. This one is dated, like all of them. This one is dated, I believe that's 6/8/42, so the 6th of August 1942. NHR, of course, the code, of course, is the filter. The filter is made by, I believe it's a different company. I can actually find a good. No, it's practically unintelligible. Now you might notice that the bands, here you have green and you have a red. I believe both of these bands indicate that the filter does not have asbestos. I believe the green indicates that this uses an alternative to the asbestos impregnated material, and this one, and the red, just means it does not contain asbestos. I will probably be corrected, like I said in the early video. It's been a while. As you can see, this one's in size normal. You got these two great big front lenses, to which these are very similar to the general service respirator. So of course the face piece is pretty similar. Now you might notice this part here. That is so you can have a microphone port. So a bit like the special T mic that I've done ages ago. You can have a microphone. So basically what you need to do is you just cut the rubber, put the microphone in, and you're sorted. The elastic on this one is really good for its age. We go ahead and turn it inside out. Excuse me. Now, of course, you might notice that that's what it would look like. Of course, this one is pretty dirty on the inside. And of course, this one has the reinforcing components. That's the valve right there. Of course, the interesting part is that this has a broad arrow. This is number 4, and it says Mark III. B, August 1942, and of course the pattern and stuff. So with most of these, the head harness can be found, well, same with the general civilian respirators, the head harness can be found completely seized, and to which that's actually something we're going to talk about on this next example. So this is the other example that I have. I did talk about this one. This one was gifted to me by a family member. So it's in a Hessian type cover. Of course, you have a strap here, to which of course this is very similar to the Home Guard haversack, to which you just let one out. Of course, you got a tie thing, so we'll actually go and open it up. As you can see, there's another CDR in here. So this one's, so basically just the bag is a Hessian type bag. This is the other CDR that I have. This one's in way more better condition, except from one thing, that being the head harness. So the head harness on this has completely and utterly seized. But basically it would say the exact same thing on the other one. Of course I can't open it up because it will literally break in my hand. The elastic is still stretchy, so that's pretty good. Of course the inside is literally the exact same. I don't know whether no, okay, it is the exact same. But however, excuse me, but however, it has a different reinforcing type thing. Of course, this one has no tears in the rubber. This one is also a size normal. So that's kind of nice. Of course, these pieces here are different compared to this one, which, as you can see, that one's got like shiny, that one's a lot more dull. This one, underneath the flapper valve, is just a lot number. Now we could actually make out a date. This looks like February. Yeah, let's see if I can stop getting some of the glare off the camera. From what I can see behind the camera, this looks like February 1938. That's what I'm seeing. Here there we go, we can get a little bit of the shadow. Yeah, it looks like February 1938. The filter is actually Metal Box Company 1940. I forgot to mention that that this was made by Leyland Birmingham Rubber. Of course, it has the same, microphone port thing. Of course, the one thing that really just makes it, the one thing that I don't like is just that this is just completely seized to begin with. Let's see if I can make out the markings through here. But no, that is completely impossible. And as you can see, the rubber is just trying to tear itself apart. But I believe this is the Mark III version, which is the exact same as this one. Even though, yes, some of the components are early war. As you can see, the filters are the exact same with the green and red bands. And of course, this has just got the much more dull metal rings around it. As you can see, this one's completely dusty. This one really does need a good wipe down. Of course, that's how you take off the filter, right there. Not going to do it. But either way, that's a pretty nice example. So then, I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable. If you did, then please like, comment and subscribe. And of course, turn on notifications. And like I said, leave a comment. Your comments will be greatly appreciated, so will be some feedback. But until then, bye for now.